Let's go into the debate. Let's debate this. With me in the studio is Shobha De. She's been a close friend of Sunanda Pushkar. She's spoken to her, had many conversations, and she has much to share today. Aman Sinha of the BJP is joining us. C. Rajashekaran, advocate of the Madras High Court, is with us. Nasir Abdullah, actor, he doesn't believe she was murdered. He's one of those perhaps 10 or 15 people in India who still believe she was not murdered. Sanjay Hegde of the Supreme Court and Suman C. Raman completes our panel. And by the way, Rahul Ishwar, thanks very much. He's also on Shashi Tharoor's side on this one. So we are completely balanced. Shobha De, what is appearing to you most interesting? What appears to me most interesting, I'm start this debate. And because we are divided evenly between those who believe it was a mafia type murder and those who believe it was not. Those who actually are blaming the media on this one. For me, the most interesting part is the version of the domestic help which is now coming out, which says quite clearly that she told Shashi Tharoor that Tharoor Sahab, you are finished. I am going to reveal everything before the media. I mean, that appears to be the most incriminating part so far. What do you think?
Well, Arnav, there are two or three things in this very convoluted, very muddled and murky case. First of all, I'd like to say that Shashi Tharoor made a mockery of the press and made a mockery of a press conference.
Oh, yeah.
It was no press conference, and it was an insult to the press to come there and present a monologue, more or less.
Do you think it's working anymore, this whole, I'm a bereaved husband card?
No, not at all, because a bereaved husband would have behaved very differently under the circumstances, would not have waited for 1 year to ask the questions he's now posing. He was perfectly happy with the investigation, the way it was going with in the previous government with those police, and suddenly he's woken up to the fact that these people are actually asking serious questions, including, I mean, the question that's in everybody's mind, the haste in which she was cremated, and many other questions which I think will, for a long time, we need to get to the bottom of. The point is that when I had met Sunanda, I won't claim to be a very dear and close friend, but we certainly had a good relationship. It was a few months before she died, and I just felt here was a woman, who had been convinced she herself was seriously sick and dying. Who had convinced her?
Means?
She kept repeating that I have lupus, I may have stomach TB, I may have stomach cancer. I don't
but
think
the medical reports suggest otherwise.
I don't think I have very long to live. There are a lot of things I'd like to clear. I mean, who had convinced this perfectly healthy woman that she was dying? She was in a mentally weak state, because maybe she'd been administered drugs, maybe she'd been brainwashed by people around her into thinking she really was terminally sick. Secondly, she kept talking about her own safety, and she kept talking about all the information she was privy to.
What kind of information?
She said very clearly that she'd been made a scapegoat, that she felt like she'd been used, she'd been manipulated. She, at the time when she got married, she was a woman madly in love. She wanted to start a new life with this gentleman, and she felt that whatever information about the IPL that she possessed, about the IPL and the fact that she was made to claim that she had sweat equity in the whole deal.
In the Kochi team.
In the Kochi team was something that she was very uncomfortable about. I said, why did you keep quiet in that case? Why did you go ahead and not... she said, I couldn't at the time, and I thought I was doing the right thing because his political career would have been jeopardized. I didn't want anything to jeopardize.
No, she told you that she had fronted. She'd willingly fronted because she was for Shashi Tharoor.
For him, because she didn't want him to get into trouble at the time.
She told you this. She shared this with you.
She shared this with me, and she also said that she was privy to a whole lot of information that would have incriminated him because the players involved were people who are pretty dangerous. Now she didn't name those people, and it was perhaps not the right opportunity for me to dig any further.
Players, as in you're not talking about cricketing players, you're actually talking about the players in the mucky IPL scam.
She talked about people across the border. She talked about people in Dubai I didn't go into names, but she was clearly not just frightened. She also added that, you know what, I'm ready to walk, and if it comes to that, I will stand for elections and against my husband in Thiruvananthapuram, and what's more, I will win because truth is on my side. She was ready to go to that extent. She was just not very confident about her health. She was very fragile, and she was convinced she was dying. Why would this woman make up such a story? She was not the kind of woman who I don't think she would make that up. At
what
that
you're
time
saying is very, very significant. You realize
Yes,
this, you know,
I
because
do realize
because
it.
what you're saying today, and everyone's watching you, Shobhade. You're a well-known writer. People take you seriously.
I would not put myself on the line for nothing.
Because
I
when
know
you
this
wrote
to
out
be
a
the
piece,
truth.
when you wrote a piece in the Mumbai Mirror day
Yes.
before yesterday, you
Yes.
held yourself back. You didn't say so much. You know,
Yes.
Shobhade, what you're saying today is going to be really talked about. I'm repeating what
It
you're
is the
saying.
truth,
That you are
and I
saying
can
that
say it.
you are saying. You know, for all our viewers, what you are saying that Sunanda Pushkar told you she was fronting for Shashi Tharoor in
Yes.
the IPL scam.
Yes.
And that, you know, she
Yes.
was a woman in love, she was used.
Yes, she was used.
And she was going to reveal this.
She was going to reveal this, which she also said, I believe, that was not said to me, but she also said that before, a few hours before she was found dead, that she was going to hold a press conference. And
No,
she was
I'm
going to
asking what
expose
she
it.
told you. She talked
told me
about the
what I
Dubai
said.
connection.
And,
To the
people in Pakistan.
Dubai connection and people in Pakistan to the
Yes.
whole IPL mess.
To the whole IPL
And
mess.
she knew that she had been quiet and she'd taken the hit for it.
Yes, she had taken the hit for it. She was extremely upset about that because she had taken a hit for a life that she hoped to enjoy with a man who she thought at that point loved her, and she did it for him. She absolutely did it for him.
And she spoke about the threat to her life.
Yes, she did. But she also thought she was dying. She thought she was terminally ill. She was told she was terminally ill.
When you heard all this,
I was deeply disturbed.
what has made you come out now and say
Deeply
this now?
disturbed because,
you know,
I'm just upset with the way things have panned out, and it's grossly unfair. There are too many people who keep saying that how do we know it's a murder? How do we not? Why should it not be a suicide?
Yeah.
Including the time I met Meher Tarar in Lahore, that was a few months ago, and she, the first thing she said to me is, how could she do this to him?
What?
I said, you're talking about a woman who's dead, and how could she do it to him? She said, didn't she think of his political career when she took her own life? So the suicide thing seems to be like a theory that was almost agreed upon by a cast of characters, and the manner in which this poor woman was murdered is so high tech. Maybe it's going to be very tough to prove that she was in fact injected or whatever was given to her orally, but whatever she was given is not something that is available across the counter, as we now
Right.
know.
Now let me share this.
Yes.
I have also been told by one of my sources today, I'm saying this with responsibility, that there was a meeting on the 15th, 2 days before she was killed, which happened in the Leela Hotel, when there was this Sunil Takru, plus there was another person who was called. There was an attempt being made to quote unquote reason out with Sunanda, and there was a plan to hold exclusive interviews for Sunanda. On the 16th, she decided to speak to the media. By 17th, she was thinking of doing a press conference. So this whole angle that she was about to reveal something and Shashi Tharoor and others were trying to convince her not
That's
to
right.
was obviously happening. So it
Definitely.
was, the trigger was the marital discord.
Yes.
But the trigger was the marital discord, but she was so upset that she was going to come out with a tell-all revelation.
She was really a woman out of control in many ways emotionally, and she also believed that she was going to be dying soon. So she wanted to maybe, get it all out of the way. And
You think she was silenced?
I mean, look at the coincidence. I can't say whether she was silenced or murdered because let the police decide that. But it just seems uncanny. I think the mistake she made was that she talked about this to far too many people. She should have just done it instead of talking about it, because too many people knew she was about to reveal something. Too many people, and that's what really I think led to whatever happened.
Well,
had she been more discreet, had she been a cleverer woman, a more cunning woman, she wouldn't have announced it. She would have just done it. Instead of that, she was just a girl who was, well, she really was in love.
Well, this is very interesting, and I'd like to say, Shobha, that you put out something, and this is certainly going to be talked about.
And it's something I did share, Arnab, with at least 5 people the same day. 5 close friends of mine and my husband. The entire conversation that I had with her it was not just her and me. There were 3 other people present who will I'm sure verify what I said is absolutely an accurate representation of what she said to me.
Now I'd like to repeat this, that none of what we are saying, we're not actually saying that Shashi Tharoor, has been directly carried out, planned or executed the murder. Not at all. That's not what we are saying. But And that's an important caveat. But the fact is, this is something that Shobha De said. Now, whether or not this is actually true, but Sunanda said she was fronting for Shashi Tharoor. And keep in context what had been quoted in the Economic Times also, where she said that I have taken upon myself, I think the exact quote was that she took upon herself the blame during IPL, and she was not going to stay with it for much longer. She was going to come out with election time, January,
right.
heated
Absolutely.
political season. Any statement from Sunanda Pushkar at that point of time would have had immediate ramifications. Let's debate this. Whole story changes, Sanjay Hegde now. Sanjay Hegde, Sumant Raman, which one of you would like to react first to the revelation?
No,
Sanjay, perhaps you first. Yeah.
No, as
Sanjay
far
first.
as these revelations go,
Yeah.
as far as these revelations go, 2 or 3 things are absolutely clear. Sunanda did have some illness. It may or may not have been serious, because it may not be serious because of what the doctors said. At that point of time, she also did want to reveal something.
Yeah.
That something seems to be what is related to the IPL.
Yes, absolutely.
And from IPL you get to the Dubai connection.
Yeah.
Now, each of these links will have to be probed. What Shobha has said today is very important. Equally, you may just have to go after people or at least in some way interrogate or ask questions of people like Lalit Modi, who knew exactly the working of the sweat equity deal.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Then comes the question, what happened on the 17th?
Yeah.
Who are the people in the hotel who managed to get into that room and administer the poison, if poison indeed was administered?
Yes.
Just one more caveat. The caveat is this: the police are now treating this as a murder investigation. Because they are treating it as a murder investigation does not foreclose any of their options. After investigation, if they find that it was not a murder or it was accidental or anything, they still have that option. Right now, they have to do a very careful, consistent investigation job, eliminate all possibilities, build up a case on every piece of evidence that is available, and once they have enough material, file a charge sheet.
Yeah.
But please,
Arnab,
let us not politicize it.
Where is
Let
the
us
politics
not say that the
of-
police
No,
works
no,
one way
is
during the
Shobha
Congress
there?
and
No,
one
no,
way
one,
during
just
the
a
BJP.
minute, one
Let's
minute,
just
one
keep
minute,
them
one
out.
minute.
Arnab,
First of all,
let's just keep that
first of all, the question goes, let's not politicize it. You know, Sanjay Hegde, I know. We don't politicize it. Okay? Then there are other people who are talking about decency. If Shashi Tharoor wants to ask questions of decency, he should ask it to a certain news channel that was taking voyeuristic pleasure in showing pictures of his murdered wife's body. We don't do that. He should ask questions to those people. The third question is what Shobha De says. Shobha De says, Sunanda says she was fronting for someone else. Sunanda may have felt it was. It may or may not be factually true. But if she did tell Shobha De, I was fronting for somebody else, right? I was a woman in love. I was fronting for somebody else. I was used. I'm going to speak up now in election season. You know, Aman Sinha, everyone knows it would have had huge political ramifications. Because for 3 to 4 years after the IPL scam, there was a concerted attempt to keep it out of the political domain. Wasn't there, Shobha? There was. So, what's the line of argument today? Sumant Raman, the entire picture is now changing. Did Sunanda threaten to reveal everything before the media? Did Shashi Tharoor know in advance that she was planning a news conference on the afternoon she was killed? Did Shashi Tharoor know who bruised her in several places 1 to 4 days before she was killed? Who hit her? The only person who was constantly with her was Shashi Tharoor. The This investigation is not a difficult one. The medical institute in Thiruvananthapuram, we spoke to them. They said she has no serious disease. She does not have lupus. Right? Did Tharoor doubt the medical opinion? And can you tell me, Tharoor says today, why am I quiet? Because I don't want to interfere in the investigations and that's why I want to remain silent. The most laughable thing, he said, I don't want to interfere. The same man who sent 2 emails about Sunanda's medical condition to Sudhir Gupta, the head of the AIIMS medical team when the investigation was underway, now says, I don't want to interfere. What was he doing on the 26th of January? Within 9 days of his wife being murdered, he was interfering. Now he wants to say, oh, media learn to be decent, I don't want to interfere.
Arnab, you are right. Mr. Tharoor seems to be making self-contradictory statements.
Arnab, say.
Arnab, may I respond?
Arnab, I want to come in here.
Arnab, the police commissioner has stated that as per AIIMS medical report of 29th of December, this was a case, death caused due to poisoning. This was a case of unnatural murder and homicide, and police obviously suspect some foul play, and therefore they have registered a case under IPC section 302. And if you see Mr. Tharoor's statement, if he is, I really fail to understand. The FIR names nobody. Why should we be so perturbed by lodging of an FIR which brings out the truth of murder behind murder of his late wife,
and the question
Sunanda,
which he asked in the letter,
justice to Sunanda.
And the question he asked in the letter,
yes,
to the Delhi Police Commissioner, saying under what circumstances have you decided to send the viscera to a lab abroad?
But he questions the investigation.
Yeah. He says, under what circumstances have you decided to send the viscera to a lab abroad?
The investigation, both in the same vein. No, so this is another case of, if Mr. Tharoor has nothing to hide, why should he be perturbed by a anonymous FIR which does not name anybody? No, and let me also state, Arnab, that Mr. Tharoor seems to be demanding, and raising several questions and asking, for several documents from police. He has not been made accused as yet, and therefore he has got no right whatsoever at this point in time to seek any documents or detail from the investigation officer. Yeah. And he himself presumes himself to be an accused.
Mr. Rajashekar, Mr. Rajashekaran wanted to counter you. Aman Sinha, the debate is interesting, it's building up. Here, Mr. Rajashekaran's view. Yes, Mr. Rajashekaran. Go ahead.
Arnab, see, the friends in the debate want to incriminate Mr. Tharoor, which is ridiculous, and I don't buy this argument of incriminating somebody who is no way connected to the murder. Point number 1. Point number 2, Mr. Tharoor,
that may be your version. That is not our version. We are only responding to the charges leveled by Mr. Tharoor, where he says that there was political interference. But Arnab, if at all there was political interference, it was in the UPA regime. Please, just 10 seconds.
See, there is no prima facie material to say that it's a murder. There is no prima facie material to say that it's murder. It's infringing into the privacy of somebody by accusing somebody violating Article 23.
Medical board to visit the scene of crime. The medical board was not allowed to visit the scene of crime during the UPA regime.
There is no presumption in
that is a fact known to everybody.
See, you cannot presume something when it is a murder. See, you should understand
What do you mean by presumption? I am stating a fact.
The documents
I am not presuming anything unlike you.
Are the
One minute, Mr. Rajashekaran.
The documents which
one minute, Mr. Rajashekaran.
I'm just stating a fact.
Documents which someone can access. The concern, the FIR, the complaint, the remand report.
No.
But I don't know how
there is no right whatsoever.
Murder theory is covered in the public domain, and nobody understands
an investigating authority
why the
is
police
not going to give documents during the initiation.
Mr. Rajashekaran, just be Mr. Rajashekaran, I have 2 questions. 1 second. Mr. Rajashekaran, 1 second please. 1 second. I have only one. Why did Sunanda repeatedly say?
See, let me speak. When I have asked me
Mr. Rajashekaran, you listen to me. Listen to the question.
Let me put forth my argument.
Listen to the question, Mr. Rajashekaran, then you answer.
Yeah.
No.
Please listen to the question. The question is this. Why was Sunanda Pushkar repeatedly saying, I took upon myself the blame for somebody else in the IPL scam? Why was she the domestic help hears her say that? Shobha De
See,
hears her
Arnab,
say that. No, no. How multiple people are repeatedly saying
See,
she
even-
kept talking about the IPL scam.
So-
And she says to Shobha De, the people involved are dangerous people. She was fronting for somebody. She was afraid for her life. She wanted to reveal all. She was contacting journalists. She
Arnab.
was repeatedly saying that I want to
Arnab,
reveal everything about the IPL
there has
scam.
been
What
much
is
of
the evidence?
circumstantial
What is the evidence? This
What
all
is the evidence?
See, this all speculation.
No,
It's quoted all over.
Speculate.
Mr.
What is the
How is it
proof that she
Rajasekharan,
spoke to
1 minute.
Shobha De? What is the proof?
What
See,
is
you
the
can
proof that she
come
spoke
out
to
with
Shobha De?
the
She's
full
sitting
story.
right next to me.
In the public
Are you saying
is
Shobha
no
De is lying?
Only,
One
only
second.
Sunanda Pushkar has to
No, no,
say.
you see.
Only Mr. Shashi
Okay,
Tharoor.
let Shobha De respond to you, Mr. Rajasekharan. 1 minute.
No,
Mr.
I'm not saying
Rajasekharan.
this.
Mr. Rajasekharan, a minute. Mr. Rajasekharan, a minute. A minute. We are looking for motive here. 1 second. Mr. Rajasekharan.
All I have to
Has he
say
got any
is,
proof to
Mr. Rajasekharan, a
any
minute.
voice recording which says Sunanda Pushkar spoke to her?
hold on.
See, there are two.
Hold on, Mr. Rajasekharan. Hold on.
Hold on.
I only hypothetically
Please,
think so.
please,
But
just please. The onus of finding the evidence does not rest on me. It's for the police to find, for the investigating agencies to find. All I can do is share
The law
what was
goes
said
by
to
it.
me.
The law goes by
That is it.
evidence.
Whether it's the truth or not the truth, it's not my job to get to the bottom of it. They have to do their job and find
God
out
only
the
knows.
evidence.
God only knows.
But God only knows. We'll know soon enough. If the
Yes,
investigation
absolutely.
is carried out in the right manner, we will know the truth
Yeah.
soon enough. That is it. I'm not saying it's the truth. I'm merely
Absolutely.
repeating a conversation. So
That's
let
what
the
Mr.
let the
Tharoor also
agencies
wants.
find out the evidence. It's not my job to produce the evidence.
On which basis, therefore, 1 sec, on which basis there is this wide-eyed wonder? Nasir Abdullah, I'm coming in. I'm coming in. Now, what is Mr. Tharoor's response to all of this? Rahul Ishwar and Nasir Abdullah, just listen to the facts. Tharoor's response is wide-eyed wonder. Oh, could it be possible my wife was murdered? I can't believe it.
He was stunned.
I never thought so.
Stunned.
I am so surprised that somebody thinks that Sunanda Pushkar was murdered. And then he says, oh, please have some decency. I'm still in bereavement. I have not been allowed to grieve. Right? I mean, the first response of a husband, Rahul Ishwar, to this kind of situation would be to say that please
Yeah, the
find
Constitution
1 minute
gives him the right to
would be
silent.
to say
The
please
article gives him the right to be silent.
which one, just a minute, Mr. Rajasekharan, you know this whole business, he says me and my family had quote unquote no reason to believe that Sunanda was murdered. Okay, no reason to believe. Let me give 6 examples. 2 Alprax strips found by her bedside. Final autopsy report confirms drug was neither in the system nor had she prescribed to it. 1. 2.
Arnab,
15
why-
injury marks. 15 injury marks.
1 minute.
15 injury marks on her body. 3. Let me complete. Let me complete.
That is old, man.
Have the ability to listen.
Just
Have the ability to listen. Okay, let me give you the facts.
That is not enough.
Mr.
If this had been just
doesn't-
another
Arnab,
murder in this country, what would the police have
Let
done?
me read from the
Answer that question.
Okay, Rahul Ishwar, you know, I just request you to let me complete and then you can say what you want.
Let me read from the FIR.
No, I will read from the facts. What FIR do you have which I don't? 1 second,
Yeah.
please. Now, suppose somebody, what is Shashi Tharoor? I had no reason to believe, okay? 15 injury marks, no reason to believe. Alprax strips not in the system, no reason to believe. Teeth mark, reddish color teeth bite mark of the size 6 into 0.5 centimeters. Somebody has really bit into her deep, bruised her all over her body. Injection mark, injury number 10, injection on the body. All injuries caused by blunt force, simple in nature, except injury mark number 10, which is an injection mark. Okay? Then, on re-examination
Please
of the
read the
hotel
next line
room,
too.
re-examination of the hotel room, discovery of broken glass. Then, autopsy report that she had, which is with me. What do you have out there? I have the autopsy report which says she had no reason for any medical reason contributing to her death. 1 second, just one. I haven't finished. Autopsy report says, allow me to complete. Autopsy report says possible cause of death is poisoning. Then Shashi Tharoor says, why? How can there be foul play? I never imagined. Then viscera report finds traces of lidocaine on her apparel. On top of it, she now domestic helps version. Sunanda told Shashi Tharoor, I will finish you, I will reveal everything to the media. Everyone in the media knows she's going to do a press conference. Shobha De comes and says IPL angle. No.
We are
The
all-
only person on this world
are all
who
sad
thinks
and
Sunanda
shocked to see
Pushkar was
the
not
turn of
murdered
events.
must be Shashi Tharoor. The only person besides you, maybe.
No,
the
we are
only
all
person who
sad
believes
and
Sunanda
shocked
Pushkar was not
to
murdered is
see
Shashi
the turn
Tharoor.
of events.
Is yes.
No,
sir.
we are all sad and shocked to see the turn of events, and we must concede that it was not in the best of lines that we thought.
No.
Having said
At the
that,
end
let
of
me
it,
read
no.
the next
At the end
line
of it,
what
no.
you
Please
said in
tell
the
me,
FIR.
does this
Hold on,
argument
hold
hold
on.
anymore?
The injuries number.
Okay,
The
tell me the
injuries number 1 to 15 is of various duration, ranging from 12 hours to 4 days.
Yes.
It cannot all be attributed to that
Yes,
fateful
exactly
night.
what I'm
And
saying.
The cause of death is poisoning. And hold on. And in the FIR, she was a normal, healthy individual.
Yeah.
It is concluded that the deceased Sunanda Pushkar was neither ill or had any disease.
So what,
prior
you're
to
proving
her
me
death.
right.
Even Shobhade knows, like all of our friends knows. No, hold on. All
Thank
of
you.
our friends know that Sunanda madam was ill. She checked into KIMS.
I'll
for
get the KIMS
almost
report
50
now. I have had
tests,
enough of
out
this
which
rubbish.
22 tests
Let's
were
get the
pending.
KIMS report. I'll get the KIMS report.
See,
No, you tell me here.
22
No, one
tests.
second. You tell me one place.
The 22 tests. Not saying anything new.
See, I'll tell you
Only
one thing.
under Dr.
I'll
Sudhir
show you the
Gupta's
KIMS report again.
The entire FIR is built up.
Yeah, so 1 second. You see, Mr. Rahul Ishwar, you have read this FIR report. I have the medical report, I have the autopsy report, I have the FIR report, and I have more than 60 pictures of the dead body of Sunanda Pushkar, which, unlike some people who want to do discussions on what is trial by media, they don't even have the decency not to show those pictures on the channel. You know, this is the denigration of journalism. Not asking
Very
these
gracious
questions.
of-
Now, 1 minute, please. 1 minute. You don't want to ask these questions, you want to camouflage it in some other way and talk about trial of media, please do it. But don't be hypocritical about it. Question to you is, I'm saying, who in their right mind would say there's still not foul play? This is obviously foul play. A normal, healthy individual is beaten, injected, beaten and injected. A normal, healthy individual who is about to reveal something which could be related to IPL is beaten, and injected to death.
Please understand.
You say, are you saying
Injuries
she
are
beat
days
herself, she
old.
bit herself, she
It cannot
injected
all
herself
be
to death?
attributed to one single day.
Arey bhai, then
difference
tell
does it
me.
make?
No, what's
What
show,
difference
show,
does it make
Are
whether it's 4 days,
12
1 day or
hours to
2
4
hours?
days old.
What difference does it make whether it's 4 days,
All
8 days?
understand.
No, Rahul Ishwar.
1 hour.
Answers to
The
one
point is she was injured.
Rahul Ishwar, you are not.
It's not self-inflicted
Arnab, 1
injuries,
minute.
surely.
No, one minute, one at a time. Is Rahul Ishwar saying anything new? 1 second. With respect, Rahul Ishwar is not. What Rahul Ishwar is saying, the injuries are 1 to 4 days. Exactly. And tell me, Mr. Rahul Ishwar, think yourself, be calm about it, don't be biased, don't be prejudiced. You may have your likes or dislikes, your personal opinion, keep them aside, Rahul Ishwar, for a minute. Ask yourself, who was with Sunanda Pushkar for the 4 days, constantly with Sunanda Pushkar, almost constantly with Sunanda Pushkar for the 4 days leading up to her death?
Arnab,
Oh, sorry, murder. Who was with her?
Yes.
Who was with her?
Yes.
Are you saying the hospital
all know
inflicted
they were
injuries on
having
her?
fights.
again it begs
No,
the question.
we
what
all
was
know
the
they
police
were having
doing
fights.
for the last
They were
1 year?
having marital problems. But
No,
let
1
us
minute.
wait.
So
for
marital
final
problem you
conclusion.
can beat.
Let us not jump the gun.
Okay, so marital problem, she was probably beaten.
No, 1
That's
minute.
This is your level of chauvinism now, which is also reflecting.
They were having problems. No. They
Arnab,
were all.
every
Nasir Abdullah.
We all know.
That
But
you
having
given
said
today-
that, let us
Nasir Abdullah wants to
let
come
us
back to the
let us
debate
be
tonight.
fair to justice.
See, I am
We are all
prefacing this by
supporting the
saying, you see, yes, Nasir Abdullah. Yes, Nasir Abdullah. You've heard it all, and I hope today at least you will take all your personal views on the subject out of the equation. I want to tell you one thing. Sunanda is found murdered in a systematic way on 17th January 2014.
Saying to me about, I've heard that before.
You've heard that
I
before.
Just need to clear the air, and I'll take 30 seconds if this time you were to promise me you will not get exasperated with my answers. Like Madam Shobha Day, I was also informed by actually Sunanda that she had lupus.
Please
And
get
that it
off this lupus theory, you know. This lupus theory is a lie. Your medical
you were
report said
listening
she's not.
Very fascinated to Shobha Day because she's an attractive lady.
Come on,
I guess
you know,
because
please.
I'm a man and I look like Gaddafi, you don't want to hear it.
You look
What
like-
is wrong with you?
Mr.
What is wrong with you?
Mr. Nasir
Is it
Abdullah.
because I'm a Muslim or are you jealous of my good looks? I look like Gaddafi now. Come on, grow up, man. She said the same thing that I did, and you were looking at her like this. And when I talked, don't give me that, and you hold your head. What am I supposed to do? Why do you call me here? We had discussed this thing. Shobha has told you that. Again, you're holding your head. The same thing you did with me 48 hours ago. What am I supposed to do? And you're listening very fascinated to Shobha saying the same stuff about lupus. Based on what I had heard, I propounded the theory of a cocktail of other drugs that she was having, including the medication, which could have led to her death. I didn't say it wasn't a murder. So don't put words into my mouth,
No,
sweetie.
Nasir Abdullah, first of all...
I am a coward. I am a coward, and I don't like, to be accused of stuff. I'm a very careful man.
Yeah, so if you finish, Nasir Abdullah, now please stop for a minute and please listen to me. By the way, once this is a serious discussion. I request you to be a little serious in the discussion.
Don't request me. I request you to give me the same respect as you give to Shobha Dey.
Yeah, so stop comparing yourself constantly to Shobha Dey and just.
I'm not comparing.
First of all,
I'm too much of a man.
Okay, Nasir.
Why would I want to compare?
Nasir.
But it's unfair on your part. You hear the same story from her about Sunanda's lupus story, which I heard.
Does Shobha Dey say she died of lupus? No.
About a possible.
You see, Mr. Nasir Abdullah, if you were talking a little sensibly,
can happen.
If you can just think a little sensibly, if not speak a little sensibly, then you would realize where you are making a critical mistake.
I start with the same story that Shobha had got, and you're very, very rapt attention with her, and when it comes to me, don't give me that story, and you hold your head. What am I supposed to do? I can leave. I'm okay.
Mr. Nasir Abdullah, please stop for a minute.
I'm glad you're laughing.
Mr. Nasir Abdullah, the fact is, Mr. Nasir Abdullah, now it's a serious murder investigation. We can't turn it into. Thank you. No, that's all. Now, Mr. Nasir Abdullah, please. Now, can I please have others on the screen? Please go back to the debate now. The problem is, Nasir Abdullah, what you don't realize is nobody dies of a suspicion. Does somebody, 1 second, Mr. Abdullah, please stop for a minute.
Who said she had lupus?
No, please, nobody dies of a suspicion. I suspect I have cancer, I don't die of it.
That's true.
I suspect I have, but nobody dies of a suspicion.
She was told by
Suman
somebody.
Siraman.
Obviously, she was told by somebody.
We are missing a very, very important
and I got
point.
fooled too.
If
Somebody
she had
told her.
lupus,
Maybe Shashi
the
told her.
changes in her
Maybe
organs
Shashi
would
influenced the
have been
doctors to
picked
tell
up
her.
in the
Who
autopsy.
knows? I don't know them.
Excuse
They're not
me.
my friends.
1 minute.
Cleared it already.
Hello?
She did not have
If she
lupus.
had lupus,
Can you, 1 second.
I don't know. She
Exactly.
told me. What am I
If it
supposed
was
to
there,
do?
the
She told
autopsy
Shobha.
report-
One at a time, can I just have...
Changes suggestive of lupus could have been picked
I
up in an
believed her.
autopsy.
And you're calling me.
So I think we
earlier
are again
on,
and again
I was
going around the
laughed
same
at
thing.
for
If
saying
the
the
report
same
says
thing.
she didn't have lupus, if the autopsy report
report
doesn't
said,
show lupus, what she
but
said
Sunanda
does
said
not
to me,
matter.
what am I supposed to believe? Am I supposed to believe you, sir? I don't know you from Adams.
No, but again, we're going
I
around
don't
in
care.
this-
Shobha and me and
Arnab.
many other people were told by Sunanda
This
that
is-
she had lupus. What's the big deal? I'm not saying lupus is the cause of her death.
Maybe she felt she had some of the
I didn't
symptoms
say
of it.
that. I just
Nasir Abdullah, now you got to stop for a minute, please. No, it's not funny anymore. Mr. Nasir Abdullah, a minute. There are 5 theories which have been
Then
debunked.
how are you saying that she...
There are 5 theories which have been
One of the
debunked.
many
And then you
theories,
say she was not
There are 5 theories which have been
It is
debunked. I'll put the
possible-
questions at the
it is
bottom of the screen.
possible
Mr. Abdullah, please.
Nobody knows
She
that.
might have felt she had lupus, but she didn't have it. She might have felt she had
she didn't
lupus,
have
but she
it.
didn't have it. She might have felt she had
One at a time. Can I just have
in the paper, no?
medical reports in the
I'm not
public
saying
that's
she
not-
had
that's not the same thing.
I'm not saying she had lupus.
What is this,
I was
chaos and
told that.
disagreement about?
Like many other people.
It doesn't matter what you were told. Doesn't matter what you were told. There are 5 theories which have been
Somebody
debunked in this
hypnotized
case.
into thinking, I do not know. Shobha was told that.
Arnab,
Can you please, Mr. Nasir Abdullah, for a minute? Can we have others also, please, onto this debate? The 5 theories
Can I
that have
make
been
one
debunked in
quick
this
point,
case.
Arnab?
The point is simple. It is all pointing to an IPL angle. Why don't we get it?
Yeah, sure.
It is all pointing Aman Sinha to an IPL angle.
Before evidence emerged.
So there is a serious possibility that she was. Why would any woman say
that-
I was
that might be
fronted?
a
Why would
subject
anyone
matter of
say?
investigation.
No, you tell me, Aman Sinha. Why would anyone say that I was a front for an IPL scam? Take the blame on themselves. Why would anyone say that? She was obviously hurt and she was going to reveal something. Tell me, Aman Sinha, before an election, would that have political ramifications or not? Yes, Aman Sinha.
No, Arnab, you are right to the extent that there are many statements which corroborate that, there was something very suspicious with regard to IPL, and she wanted to disclose something. So all these statements, and there are a lot of her friends who have been making such statements which corroborate, what might be going on in her mind. But this is all a subject matter of investigation. Let it come out. But what Mr. Tharoor has alleged today, that, there might be some political pressure or interference, I think this is absolutely uncalled for. In fact, this FIR does not even name anyone. It only initiates an criminal investigation to get to bottom of, what happened to Sunanda Pushkar, how she was killed. So Mr. Tharoor should be welcoming it. I do not know if he has nothing to hide. Why should he be so perturbed about it?
What prompted the police to come
make
out with an affair
allegations
like this?
When the fact of the matter remains, Arnab, when the fact of the matter remains that during the UPA regime, the same AIIMS Medical Board was not even allowed to inspect the scene of the crime. And this is what delayed, them giving their medical report.
And at that time, at that time, simple question, Mr. Rajashekaran, at that time, when the investigating officer was not cooperating with the medical board, right? When the details were not being given out, when the CCTV pictures were not shared, when the investigation was shoddy, did Shashi Tharoor come out and complain about it? Did he come out and say, oh, the investigation is so shoddy? Did he, Mr. Rajashekaran? Did he?
Did he allege political
Did he at any point of time complain?
See, allow me now. You have asked me a question, I'll answer it. Yeah, you asked me a question. See, in this case, an FIR was registered under section 174. Now, after 354 days, it has been altered to 302 IPC. See, what made the police to jump into conclusion that after 1 year it is a murder? You see, it can be a suicide also. See, the suicide angle.
On the contrary, why don't you ask? On the contrary, why don't you ask? Why did the police?
Material before the investigative.
No. On the contrary, why don't you ask? Why don't you ask, or why doesn't Rahul Ishwar ask? On the contrary,
what is the proof and the material? It is a murder.
Sir, all these details.
The material before the investigating authority that it is a murder.
All these details amount to what?
See,
all these details. Are you going to say the case is time bound now?
Not obliged to share all these details with anybody. This is all a subject matter of investigation, and during pending investigation, investigative agencies do not share it with all and sundry.
What about circumstantial evidence?
That is not how our CRPC and IPC is divided.
Mr. Rajashekaran, Mr. Narayanan's statement most importantly alleges. Just one second. Can I have Rahul Ishwar on the screen, please, for a minute, and let's put the questions out as well. Mr. Rahul Ishwar, just a minute. Mr. Narayanan's statement most importantly alleges, and I quote, रात को मैडम ने साहब को फोन पर कहा, थरूर साहब आप खत्म हो गए, मैंने मीडिया को सब बता दिया है. Are we going to discount this statement of the domestic help? You know what?
Family will have fights like
and
this.
If this statement
Any
was
family
made,
will have fights like this.
There is
That is not the modern point or something like that.
Mr. Rajashekaran, what information?
There is an important point there.
Will fight. That is.
Just a minute, I'm getting Rahul Ishwar into this, please. Rahul Ishwar. Yes, Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, please.
I agree and appreciate. the media enthusiasm in this case. Even though I personally don't believe Shashi Tharoor sir is responsible for this. Hold on. We need answers. She was personally close to all of us and we need answers. And I concede that there is a context and a background to it. But my limited submission is, before connecting the dots in the way we want, let us wait for more evidence to emerge. This entire FIR is built on Dr. Sudhir Gupta's observations. Fair enough. But let us wait for more evidence to emerge.
Evidence.
We have solid evidence.
Mr. Rahul Ishwar, after accessing Sunanda Pushkar's KIMS medical report, which is the last medical report that Sunanda went through, our channel spoke to Dr. Vijaya, who clarified Sunanda's medical condition. Let me quote you some parts. Dr. Vijay debunked the lupus theory that has been floated by friends of the family and said that doctors who examined her in a last medical test 3 days before she died did not think in those terms from the results we had at that time. Then I am asking you a simple question. Despite that, why were Shashi Tharoor and their friends pushing this lupus angle? Why were they? Just explain this to me. Why were they, Rahul Ishwar?
It was not only Shashi Tharoor. Sunanda madam herself told the head of nephrology in the particular hospital you mentioned, she was just for lupus.
Why don't
the lupus theory is not by anybody else. Sunanda madam herself believed she was ill.
Shobha De.
And in this
Shobha De
particular
wants to
affair,
add on to that. Shobha De.
Perfectly normal and healthy.
Shobha De, 1 minute. Shobha De, please. Shobha De. Shobha De, please. Shobha De. Shobha De.
All I want to say is that it's very obvious that she had been convinced by the people around her that she was a very sick woman and she was going to die of lupus and a whole lot of other terminally ill conditions. She was made to believe that. Perhaps she was even made to, she was administered drugs for various ailments that she did not have. She was in a very weakened state, physiologically, psychologically, physically, emotionally. Because of all the drugs that she may have been forced to take after convincing her she was very ill. So it's a whole plot. It's a whole plot going back, work it backwards. It was not something that happened overnight, that someone, whoever it was, decided she was inconvenient and she could be gotten rid of, whoever that someone was. It was something that was worked on for months before she was actually found dead. That's all I have to say. And let the police find out who did it. I'm no one to talk about that. I'm no one to talk or speculate.
And on top of that, before you come in, and on top of that, Nasir Abdullah.
Her last tweet said, I'm going away smiling. What does that do to you? Her last tweet said, but I will go away smiling. What does that do to us?
It's a creepy tweet.
Does that give you an indication that that was her intention?
She was a desperate lady.
Ultimately, she might have been murdered.
No, watch it. Nasir Abdullah, how do you know she sent out the message?
I have also thought of that the assassins might have been with her and made her tweet. It's possible.
So this
anything is possible.
Therefore, exactly. No, but one thing comes out repeatedly.
But you are saying she's not.
One thing comes out repeatedly, three things come out here. And just think it through. All multiple sources are telling us one thing. Sumant Raman, I'm coming to you. What are they saying? They say repeatedly, everybody says Sunanda Pushkar was going to reveal something about the Indian Premier League scandal. And she had said repeatedly to multiple people, there are dangerous people involved. There are people across the border. There are people in Dubai. Right. Now we all know, Subansi Raman, that the IPL does not have a clean record, and something very murky was happening in the Kochi scam. And Shashi Tharoor's resignation in response to the exposés on Times Now was seen as damage limitation exercise by the UPA government at that point of time. You know the circumstances in which they happened, right? Now, if Sunanda Pushkar revealed something in January 2014, what impact would it have on the political circumstances, on a top Congress leader? Right? A top Congress leader who...
That is one angle which...
Who, by the way, Sumant, was removed and brought back as spokesperson, surprisingly happily rehabilitated, made a minister once again.
Yes.
Made a minister once again, in these circumstances, seemed to be close to the top leadership of the Congress party, having their solid patronage. And here is a person, Sunanda Pushkar, who is possibly wanting to reveal something very significant in the IPL scam about being a front. My question is, who was... What's it? Therefore, it boils down to this, Sumant. Who was she a front for?
Shashi Tharoor had not been Shashi Tharoor. 1 minute. If Shashi Tharoor had been just another citizen of this country, how would the Delhi police have handled this case?
But the point is, he's not.
11 and a half, 12 months.
He's not just another citizen. He's not another citizen. And she was not just
another citizen.
Sorry.
If he's just another citizen, madam, I'm sorry.
Sir,
if he was just another citizen,
was in government.
He would have been picked up by the police
in government.
ago.
He had a sensitive portfolio. He had an important job. He was a VIP.
After May,
so
after the government changed.
No, sorry. You cannot ask such a hypothetical question. He was not a regular citizen of the country. He was in a sensitive job, in a sensitive position.
This kind of thing happens across the country all the time.
No, I'm not talking about. The point is,
whoever wherever he
This
was,
is an-
whatever
this-
position he had,
Sumant Raman.
if there
You
was
cannot
circumstantial
compare.
No, no, no,
evidence
You
cannot
that
compare.
demanded
No,
that he be
she
was
called
a
in for
minister's
questioning,
wife.
He should have been called in for questioning.
She was a minister's wife.
Sumant, it wasn't any other murder. One second, Sumant, if it had been any other person, the person would have been picked up by the police a long time ago and been in lockup.
Exactly.
This is a murder which has happened. This is a murder which has happened within a few years, within less than 7 years of the person's marriage. The first suspicion is therefore on the spouse, and the spouse would have been picked up and put in
but
Tihar
you will
jail. You
find-
know that. My
you
question
find
in
out
this
from
case
the
to the
last guy
contrary.
who left the
No, 1
room
minute. To this
from the
contrary, the
video,
person on whom
from
the
the
suspicion
CCTV.
would have been there writes to the Home Minister, not even to the police person, takes a high moral ground, gets himself mysteriously admitted in AIIMS at the same time when his wife's autopsy is going on, disposes of the body in less than 24 hours. Right? The case slows down, investigation does not happen, he does not complain. Elections happen, change of guard happens. By November, the whole case is picking up steam once again. At that time, he writes a letter, fairly aggressive, saying, how are you trying to change, put me under the line of suspicion? He is also constantly trying to ingratiate himself vis-a-vis this new government. I'm not saying he's done anything, but he's constantly trying to ingratiate himself vis-a-vis the new government. At this point of time, it also emerges now that Sunanda Pushkar repeatedly told several people, I am going to reveal something about the IPL scam. Repeatedly, more than 5 to 6 independent people are saying IPL scam, IPL scam, IPL scam. And by the way, Sumant Raman, it wasn't any other murder. It was a murder involving a very public figure who had a very public spat with her minister husband. So no, it is the murder of a public figure who just publicly hinted at quote unquote the crimes of this man during the IPL. Who is the man she's talking about? This man being a then Union Minister of India. So Shashi Tharoor can't say this is about TRPs.
All of this information that we've discussed on the show, Arnab, is more than 11 months old.
This is not.
Make it irrelevant.
Most of it is several months old.
Does it make it irrelevant because it's 11 months old?
Why have they not?
That is a different question. It's valid today.
It's valid
Out of the 11 months, out of the 11 months, 5 to 6.
It wasn't valid 4 months ago.
Out of the 11 months, 5 months.
4 months ago.
Out of the elections, 5 months are Congress government. 5 months are Congress government. Take out 5 months.
6 months. 6 months later.
You asked the previous government why they didn't go into this investigation more fully. Why ask this panel? They didn't do their job. They didn't do their job doesn't mean this government shouldn't do its job. It doesn't mean this administration shouldn't do their job.
Is the forensic report. The forensic report they have the All India Institute has to clarify, A, did they find changes of lupus or not in the viscera? If they didn't find it, your entire theory of this lupus
can I
goes for
please,
a toss.
Sumant Raman?
What was the poison that they actually
Lupus has
found?
nothing to do with her death. She didn't die of lupus.
I have
Let's get that clear. She didn't die of lupus. So why do you keep referring to it?
Okay, so final word. Sumant Raman says, give me the medical opinion of AIIMS forensic report. Now, since you wanted it, and I'm telling you on this, Shashi Tharoor will have, better be careful about the rubbish he speaks. He says media should know decency. We don't have to learn lectures on decency with Shashi Tharoor. We know our job. Now here's the forensic report, because this channel, we don't just put things out without knowing. This is the forensic report, okay? Have a look carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting it out again. Mister,
we need to
listen.
find out who started it. Was it Mr. Tharoor?
1 minute.
Was it his other friend? Was it a doctor he
This is the forensic report. You wanted it. You wanted it, I'm putting it out. This is the forensic report.
I want to find out who started
it is not a public document.
the story
It cannot
about
be a
the
public
lupus.
document.
Mr. Rajashekharan, this is the AIIMS report.
Who started the lupus theory?
1 second.
I would like to find that.
I don't know, but you are
Then
actively
we can
spreading it.
find
1
out
second.
the
Yeah, that's right.
conspiracy,
Only the
if there
investigating
was any.
officer should hold
The
it.
forensic report says, Rahul Ishwar, final nail in the coffin of the argument of all those people who have been saying that, she was not killed. 1 second. Look at the number of places. I marked it. What is, she was not having the disease lupus. She was not, look at this. She was not having the disease lupus. She was not, then I go up, she was not having the disease lupus.
Yes,
She was not
I've
having
seen
the
it
disease
before.
lupus. So she was not having
your
lupus,
last
for God's sake,
episode, I've
stop
seen
that
it
theory.
before. What
She
I'm
was
saying is,
murdered.
why is
She
nobody
was,
concentrating on the
Sunanda
fact
Pushkar
that
was 100% murdered. Sunanda Pushkar was murdered in a mafia type operation. You have any doubts, Rahul Ishwar? Rahul Ishwar. Rahul Ishwar, last word.
100% healthy.
Rahul Ishwar.
100% healthy.
Rahul
It's a
Ishwar,
fact.
please.
We all know. She was not 100% healthy. It's a fact. We all
100%
know.
healthy?
But I understand
That's
and
still
concede
fine.
that
No,
there
no.
are serious questions. Let us wait for those questions and not invade into the privacy of other people.
Oh,
Let us
sure.
wait for answers and
They are
don't
giving
do a
this
This is
media
not
trial.
a private
enough to have a boxing
matter.
match
This is not a
with
private matter, and nobody can
not a
claim to be
private matter.
100% healthy. No one can get that kind of a certificate. All we are saying is
come
she
on.
did not
Come
die
on,
of
Shobhaji.
lupus.
What are we
She did not
saying?
die of
What,
lupus.
and what are
It's a bit too late to talk about privacy of
Murder
two
and
very public
incidentally,
figures with a
murder is
murder
a
case
crime
involved.
against
No, what are we saying here? And conclusion, I want to say one thing. What are we saying here?
One second.
What are we saying here? What are we saying here, Mr. Rajashekar, in a minute? We are saying she was murdered in a mafia type murder. We are not saying who the murderer was. But we do find it surprising that with all this material in the public domain, A, the investigating agencies were not doing their job. B, that Mr. Shashi Tharoor finds it surprising that anyone thinks his wife was murdered. It's Shashi Tharoor's reaction which is very surprising. But she was certainly murdered. If you think Sunanda Pushkar was murdered in a mafia type killing done by professionals, you can tweet using that hashtag. Who do you think could have eliminated her? You can give your point of view. We here at Times Now believe there is more than meets the eye. This is India's most high-profile, murky, mafia-type murder case. We will track the story. We have only begun our investigations. Thank you for joining me on debate number 1 on the News Hour tonight.